And we'll start by really feeling into the body. We spend a lot of time in our head. What does it feel like in your torso? Can you relax your shoulders? What does it feel like in your hips? Can you really allow whatever's beneath you to hold you so that you're doing the least amount of work? It's fine to have something behind your back if that feels more comfortable, to lean against something. We'll think about having the head above the spine, above the hips, so we have nice alignment so that we need to use the least amount of muscles possible. Sometimes if the head is too far forward, the neck strains and we're using all the neck muscles. Instead, thinking about tucking the chin just slightly so that we can use the spine to hold the very heavy head and cranium. And I'll invite you to take a big cleansing breath and let it out with an audible sigh. And if that felt good, feel free to do another one. Big in through the nose. And let it all out. And then today I thought we would start with a little bit of massage in the ears. This is a really important part in acupuncture. If you've ever done acupuncture, there's a lot of really sensitive parts of the ears, and maybe just gently tugging on the earlobes a little bit and feeling how that feels. Not too hard, doing what feels good, and working your way up the outside of the ears to that top part that's curled over, and just gently uncurling that part of the ear, using the thumbs to work into all of the parts, pulling the ears gently away from the head. And then maybe you lightly stick the fingers inside the ears and pull down a little bit on one side and the other, massaging the inner part of the ear, being gentle with yourself, but seeing what feels good. And then maybe if you like, blocking the ears completely and taking 10 breaths just in the silence here. And then wherever you are, taking the fingers out, maybe you could hear the heartbeat, or maybe you could hear what was going on a little bit, and just take another moment. Maybe massage behind the ears, in the neck, or maybe on top of the ears. Whatever else feels good to you, maybe working your way into the temple, just relieving any bits of stress that you can. Even a 1% reduction is a step in the right direction and should be considered a great win. And then we'll come back gently to our nice tall seat, taking stock. How do you feel now? How's your head? How's your body? How are your shoulders? How are your hips? And if there are any movements that would feel good to you before we sit, maybe you need to roll the neck a little bit or roll the shoulders a little bit. Maybe you'd like to do some gentle twisting. Whatever it is that would help you ground yourself and feel relaxed as we come into stillness. Now's a perfect time to do that. Once you feel settled, feel free to add a layer if you're chilly, or take off a layer. Make yourself really comfortable, feather your nest. And if you like, you can close your eyes. And if that's not in the cards for you today, no worries, just lower your gaze so that you can go inward. We'll set an intention for our practice, and this can be anything that you'd like to cultivate more of in your life. And it's nice to set these intentions as positive statements, as if they have already happened. I am a patient person. I am self-compassionate. I take my time. I don't rush. Or maybe you're working on some interpersonal relationships and you say, I have compassion for others. I take care of the people in my life. Whatever it is, say it. Let it go out into the universe. Let the universe help conspire to make it so. And then we'll come into the breath, in and out through the nose where you can. And if that's not possible, that's okay. You can breathe through the mouth if that's what feels more comfortable to you. Focusing on letting the breath fill the ribs and expand your body. And then feeling the compression of the ribs as you exhale. And as your torso compacts and shrinks a bit, inhaling to expand and taking up space, and exhaling to come back to shrink just slightly, and focusing on that change in the capacity of the lungs as you're inhaling and exhaling, breathing 360 degrees into the front. Maybe you feel the chest rise and fall, but also breathing into the side ribs. Also breathing into the back body. If there's something behind you, maybe you feel the back pressing into the seat. Maybe you invite the breath into the belly. Maybe you breathe into any area that's still a little tight or a little constricted. Seeing if you can soften, seeing if you can relax, even a tiny bit. Noticing is the first step. And I'll invite you to join me in a breathing pattern where we extend the exhales, inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 8. And some people like to count in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if that's helpful, having the repetition of the numbers, feel free to do that. Other people like to be more intuitive and inhaling for about what feels like 4 and exhaling for about what feels like 8. Both are equally good. Find what feels good in your body. Doubling the length of the exhale helps turn on the parasympathetic nervous system and helps tell our body that we are safe, that we can go into rest and digest mode, that we can go into repair mode, that we don't have to be in heightened fight or flight. We don't have to be alert and on edge, that we can feel really secure, that we can go within, that we're okay. And we are okay. We're okay just as we are. We are okay because we are shining our individual light. We are taking up the space that we deserve to take up. We are putting our individual mark on our world and the people in our sphere. And we are allowed to do those things. We have permission to take up the space, to interact with the world, to be who we are. I have a poem for you today called Say My Name, and it is from a poet named Meleika Gesa-Fatafehi, and it goes like this. Feel free to carry on with your 4 in, 8 out, or to switch to a more even 4 in, 4 out breathing pattern, whichever feels right in your body. Thank you, Dad, for my name. Thank you, Mom, for letting me keep it. Thank you, Sydney Nan, for saying my name lovingly every time. Lastly, thank you, Papa and Nan and the rest of my ancestors. I dedicate this to you. My name was my name before I walked among the living, before I could breathe, before I had lungs to fill, before my great-grandmother passed and everyone was left to grieve. My name was birthed from a dream, a whisper from gods to a king, a shout into the stars that produced another that shone as bright. They held me without being burnt, humming lullabies in pidgin. My name was passed down from my ancestors. They acknowledged my roots grew in 2 places, so they ripped my name from the ocean and mixed it into bloodlines of my totems. My name has survived the destruction of worlds, the genocidal rebirthing of so-called ones. It's escaped the overwhelmed jaw of Deathbringer many a time. It has survived the conflicts that resulted in my gods from both lands knowing me as kin. But noticing that I am painfully unrecognizable and lost, they are incapable of understanding the foreign tongue that was forced on me. My name has escaped cyclones and their daughters. It has been blessed by the dead as they mix dirt, sand, salt, and red liquid into my flesh. My name is the definition of resilience. It is a warrior that manifested because of warriors. So excuse me as I roll my eyes or sigh as you mispronounce my name over and over again, or when you give me another that dishonors my mothers and fathers, that doesn't acknowledge my lineage to my island home, or the sense of rainforest and ocean foam. You will not stand here on stolen land and whitewash my name, for it is 2 worlds intertwined, holding as much power as a hurricane. Say it right, or don't say it at all. For I am Meleika. I will answer when you call. So I'll let you sit with that for a moment. And perhaps, if you know, take the origin of your own name into mind. A piece of your identity, gifted to you. And maybe make a mantra for yourself. I am. In your name on the exhale. I am. In your intention on the exhale. Give yourself permission to be big, to take up space, to feel pride, to feel honor. It is very easy to dwell on our shortcomings and much more difficult to remember all of the things we have done and overcome and succeeded at. I am resilient. I am human. And I'll invite you to move into a box breath. Inhaling and holding the breath at the top. Exhaling and holding the breath at the bottom. Making each side of the box about the same length. Again, some people like to count. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. And other people like to be more intuitive, and that's fine too. Inhaling, holding, exhaling, and holding, and carrying on like that. Taking your time. One more round. Inhale and hold at the top. And exhale. And this time hold at the bottom until you feel the urge to breathe. So perhaps longer than one side of the box, building up a little bit of that air hunger. And when you feel it building and building and building, slowly sip in the air, like drinking through a straw, filling up the lungs all the way. And then letting the breathing return to normal. In and out through the nose where you can. And checking in with your body again. How's your head? How are your shoulders? Can you relax your hands? Can you allow your body to sink even deeper into what's beneath you? Allow yourself to feel heavy. Allow yourself to be held. Can you relax the back? And uncurl the toes. Can you let the breathing be light? Very gently in and very gently out. Coming back to the intention, if you set one at the beginning of our time together. Restating your intention 3 times. Sending it out to the universe until the universe helps make it so and you believe it to be true about yourself. And then when you're ready, maybe generate a bit of heat by rubbing the palms together. Gently covering the eyes, blinking them open, coming back into the room slowly, peeking between the fingers. And when you're ready, bring the hands down, going back into your day. Thanks for practicing with me today.